Hey everyone, it's Tim from Full Spectrum Laser. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the Muse Galvo. For a long time, our Muse line of laser machines was exclusively made up of CO2 lasers. But with the addition of the Muse Galvo, the Muse line now includes both CO2 and fiber lasers. Typically, different laser platforms run on different software, but the Muse Galvo runs on our own proprietary software, Retina Engrave 3, just like the rest of our machines. This allows you to go from one machine to the next with little to no learning curve. But what's so different about the Muse Galvo anyway? Well, there are a few main differences. First, the Muse Galvo is a fiber laser, meaning it uses a different laser source than a CO2 laser. This laser source operates at a different wavelength, making it perfect for engraving metal. And with the integrated Intel RealSense camera, focusing to your material is a breeze. The second difference is that it uses galvanometers instead of a gantry. That's where the Muse Galvo gets its name. These galvanometers actuate a pair of small mirrors that allow the optical path of the laser to move very fast. How fast? Well, let's put it up against a CO2 laser with a gantry. Both machines are set to 100 speed. But even so, the Galvo is done in just over 2 seconds, while the CO2 laser took well over a minute. But the speed advantage isn't exclusive to vector engravings. It's just as apparent in photo dithering. This job took 10 minutes on the Muse Galvo, where it can take hours on a CO2 machine. Now, because of the difference in laser source, fiber lasers have a much smaller spot size, meaning the size of the laser beam itself is much smaller than that of a CO2 laser. In application, this translates to extremely high detail. We're talking down to the nanometer. In seconds, I was able to fit the entire first page of The Hobbit on this 3.5-inch aluminum card with text smaller than that of a quarter. If you have any questions, please reach out to us on social media or give us a call. And until next time, keep making.
Hey everybody, and welcome to...
Turn the mic on. Sorry.
It's on.
Oh, is it?
It's
Yes.
on. Hey everybody, welcome
Sorry.
back to Inside the Laser Lab. And if this is your first time, welcome. We have...
I can't hear you, Walker.
No?
No. Shelby, talk for me.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, there we go.
What about me?
No.
No,
No?
Can you hear me still?
I can hear you through my mic.
Okay. Unplug
I heard it for like a split second over there.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Oh yeah, see it's just Walker.
It's just me today.
Hey everybody!
Yeah, I can't.
We're here live in the laser lab.
So, I think, Shelby, we should jump to the first video of you teaching us how to make a box.
Oh, sure. We can do that. As you can see, I have a lovely array of boxes here. And if you were wondering, hey, how do I make
Make a box.
Oh, there we go.
We
Oh,
can do that. Oh,
it worked for a split second and then it stopped.
Let's just go to the box video.
All right, we're gonna go to a video where Shelby's showing us how to make a box. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Shelby here with Full Spectrum Laser, and today I'm going to show you how to design and make your own notched box.
So there are several free websites you can use that will basically build the box design for you. I chose to work with MakerCase. MakerCase is very simple to use. You just plug in your dimensions here on the left, indicate whether those measurements are inside or outside, whether your box is open or closed, and the thickness of your material. There are default thicknesses in MakerCase, but it's always important to use calipers to double check your material. The thickness of a material can vary, so you can add a custom size if it's not exactly one of those drop-down options. The last thing is the type of joint you want. Flat joints could work with acrylic if you are using acrylic weld and are super careful, but finger joints are a lot easier to work with, especially with materials like wood, because the panels will all snap together. You can adjust for how wide you want the joints to be as well. Some folks like Walker like a lot of little notches. I, on the other hand, prefer fewer, chunkier notches. Once you save your file, if you want to add other layers, designs, text, etc., you can drag the file into RE3 or any other editing program to make those changes. I chose to pop mine into Inkscape. I removed the text that indicated which side of the box was which so I wouldn't accidentally engrave that onto my final product. Of course, you can just hide that layer when you get to RE3. If you do delete it, make sure you keep track of which side is which. Depending on the dimensions of your box, sometimes it will only fit together that one way. Next, I'm adding the text from a separate file that says cards, so it will engrave onto the front panel. Don't forget to lock your dimensions when scaling down. For this card box, I was working with 1/8 inch clear acrylic. I did a couple of passes on my engraving so the depth was just right, and while it was still masked, I actually spray painted it so the letters would stand out even more. Once I connected all of the sides, I sealed it up with some acrylic weld to keep everything secure. If you're using wood or any other material, any kind of adhesive works great.
And there you have it. You can make a box out of pretty much any material using a basic box software. You can design your simple shape and then take it to the next level by adding images or graphics or taking away components, whatever to make your box totally custom and yours. I hope you learned something today. If you would like to keep learning, make sure you subscribe to our channel. And if you want to leave a comment, do so below. Until next time, keep making.
No.
Can you hear me?
No.
Okay.
Technical difficulties here, folks. Give me just a second. Unfortunately, I can't do mic checks while we're watching a video, so.
Battery's back in the other one. So we can just yell?
I mean, kind of. Like, I can barely hear you over my mic.
This is live. This is what happens live.
This is what happens live, yeah.
Boom.
Is it on? Can you hear me?
I can hear Shelby.
Huzzah! All right, everybody, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that fun video on boxes. Tim, what was it you were saying about MakerCase while we were away?
I was mentioning that on MakerCase there is a way to disable the labels on the boxes themselves. So where you deleted them after the fact, you can just disable them.
Perfect. So there you go. You can save yourself a step if you're good at remembering which panel is which. I personally don't remember, so I like to keep the labels on there. So I always have like the OG file I can refer back to, so I know which one's the top versus the right side. So there you go. I guess we can show you some cool boxes that we have just chilling out here in our laser lab. So if you guys ever stop by and visit us here at Full Spectrum Laser, you can see them in real life.
Very cool.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Crystal for joining us.
Back off a little bit.
Oh.
With the mic. Yeah, there you go.
There we
Doesn't
go.
have to be that close.
All right. Crystal for joining us since it's been a while. And when she joins us, we have technical difficulties. Coincidence?
I think not.
All right. I think since we're down to one mic, we will probably jump into this software because I'm going to teach you guys how to use the fonts in RE3.
Ooh.
So let's do it.
All right.
All right, so we are talking fonts in RE3. I am going to simply make a font.
It's got to be closer. It's like a straight directional mic, so if it's off center, I won't hear anything.
All right, so we are talking fonts. I'm going to zoom in, and Shelby's just going to hold the mic right here. That's cool.
Are you zoomed in?
I'm zoomed in, yeah.
Okay, because, hang on. I don't know why everything just decided to stop working.
Oh, crystal
So that's
pain.
pretty cool.
Well,
There
while
we go.
we're
Okay.
refreshing,
All right.
what's
There
a
you go.
font,
You're good.
Walker?
What's a font?
Yeah.
Why you ask me that question? It's numbers and letters. And
And other characters.
other characters. So I'm going to put just
It's literally not. It works for like a split second and then it just stops. Super cool.
Super cool. All right. Well,
Technical difficulties.
let's all go to the movies. All right. So it's very.
It's working now.
It's got a ton. Okay. All right. This is the second time we've had technical difficulties. So if we continue, I'm going to pull it and call it a day. So technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's not working anymore.
It's not.
Like
Okay.
it was working when Shelby was using it, and then as soon as you started, it's just frozen.
All right.
I have the magic touch.
You have the magic touch. Do we have one more canned footage thing?
Oh yeah.
We've got tons of canned stuff.
tons of yes.
All right. Next
Shelby
time.
Shelby made an octopus like
Thing.
thing.
I don't really know what it is, but I thought it was kind of cool.
It's
And
art.
octopi are kind of cool.
It gets shown off every time someone comes to the office.
Yes.
So,
Let's take a look at that build, yeah?
all right. And we're back.
We are back.
So, how do you create the layers?
With my brain.
With your brain. Okay, that's a good tool.
No, actually, so I don't have cool tools on my work computer like the Adobe Suite. So I actually pulled my octopus and a lot of the basic shapes and stuff, believe it or not, in Canva. Good old free Canva. So I kind of set it up in there, and then I would throw it over into Inkscape and vector it, clean it up, make it actually a usable little guy, and then we zip zap, vector raster, bada bing, bada boom.
I was tempted to correct you and say ink space.
Ink space.
I had to think about it.
Just correct you, like whatever you say, it's always the opposite.
I had to think about it. The one thing that really frustrates me about that a little octopus guy is that I don't have enough clamps here. So there's like some little gappage in the layers where I glued it, where it kind of goes like womp instead of being level.
I'm sorry, it goes like what?
Womp.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, so if I had more clamps, stick that guy together. But,
Hey, Louise still uses paint, so you're a step ahead of
Hey, there you
Louise.
go. You know what? You can do a lot in paint.
Can you?
You can.
Can you?
Can you though?
It's called being resourceful, Walker.
I guess, yeah. I always use a spray paint tool because it's my favorite tool in paint. But
It's pretty great.
Yeah. Taking a couple steps back here while we were, I know I was sweating with all the technical difficulties,
I'm used to it.
but just taking a
See,
quick couple steps
bone
back
dry.
here. Card box. Somebody thought that was really cool. Just letting you know, our super cool boss here, Robert, is getting married, so we actually have this little guy for his wedding. Collect all the stuff in there. I had to steal it back from him so I could show it off today.
so cards go in that box.
They do, yes. Not carols, but cards.
Carols.
It does look like it says carols.
That would have been a perfect segue into fonts, right?
It
would've
would
been.
have, yes.
Would have been.
Yes.
Or if you're dyslexic, maybe it says Carlos.
Carlos.
There you go.
It does look like Carlos.
You look like Carlos.
Not even close.
So just kind of circling back to all of you guys. Anybody, if you have questions, just gonna remind you we do a bunch of Q&A at the end of the show. I know I said do, sorry.
No one noticed until you brought it up
You.
again.
Well, you looked dead at me when I said it, so I thought you would notice, and then it made me nervous. Anyway, We'll answer questions at the end of the show. So if you have questions about different machines that we have, how to use RA3, why does my machine do this one weird thing, we'll answer it for you.
Somebody says they are in the market because they now have space for a 48 or a flatbed, possibly.
Ooh, yeah, flatbed.
4
Ooh.
foot by 8 foot.
4
maybe?
foot by 8 foot. Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe a little Titan?
Yeah, a little Titan.
Get a little Titan on
A
there?
little Titan action.
Maybe, possibly. I mean, who doesn't have the space for a Titan, right?
Hey,
Am I right?
speaking of Titans, don't we have some new financing options for Titans?
We do.
How's that for a segue?
Yeah. And then that ponytail got you going.
Absolutely.
All right, so special financing. It's actually for all of our Muse Titans and our Galvos, which you may have seen our super cool Galvo video at the beginning of this episode when everything was still going swimmingly.
Yep.
Only 25% down on in-house financing. So if you want to take advantage of that, get some more information, give us a call, send us an email, talk to all of our amazing salespeople, and they will get you all of the details. You can also inquire about possible colors with your Muse Titan and Galvo. You can see these guys are not the OG black, but they are white, which is pretty darn cool.
Yeah, that Titan looks awfully familiar, doesn't it, Crystal?
Yep. I'm a big fan of that white and gold Galvo, actually. I think it's pretty swanky. But yeah, so ask our sales folks about color options. See what the deal's with that.
Very cool.
Yeah, boy. All right. Aloha from the 808. 808 Laser Creations. Hello.
Nice.
Oh, she said you can hear me just fine. So we're down to one mic. It's good. We're good.
All right. That's fine.
All right. What else were we going to cover today?
Oh yeah, Ian said he wants that white and gold Galvo.
Tim's top 10.
Ooh, Tim's top 10. That was weird.
Let's go to Tim's top 10. I've been looking forward to it.
Tim's top 10. So this is an old segment. So for anyone who hasn't seen Tim's top 10 before, this is just like a list of 10 cool things that I found, and it's typically themed. So
What's our theme?
Our theme is fiber lasers, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
So we'll go to number 10. This isn't really in any order. This isn't like a contest. It's just 10 cool things that I found. So we have this very, very high detailed like pendant that they did like a deep engraving on, which looks very nice.
Very clean.
Indeed.
I like it.
I like it.
It's also kind of small. If you look how like the finger
Yeah,
size,
it's
that's a
tiny.
little guy
It's
with a lot of
tiny
detail.
little guy.
And
I mean-
those are giant fingers.
That's also a possibility. If you saw in the first video that we showed in the intro, I printed the first page of The Hobbit on a little tiny like business card size anodized aluminum thingy. Yeah, Shelby has it right there.
There it is. That size. It was,
Yeah, that size.
It was the whole Hobbit.
Well, not the whole book, but
First page.
first page. All right, number 9.
Number 9.
We have this very cool, very deep engraving of what looks to be Yggdrasil, the world tree.
Yeah. What? That looks like tin. That looks like poured tin.
It does. It does look like a poured metal.
Yeah.
As you can see the.
Like a good stamp.
All right, I have a question.
Sure.
Keep talking about these being deep engravings. On the fibers, what's the depth that you can get on those things? What are they? What
Depends
are
on-
they optimally?
Depends on
diving
how
at?
many how many passes you run.
Ah, okay. So you could just run a whole bunch of passes and just keep.
Yeah, I've seen
Really
people
big.
cut things out
Wow.
by running just insane amounts of passes. Like something like this, depending on what kind of metal you're working with, like this can take hours.
Wow, that's really cool though.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Again, it really depends on what metal you're using.
I mean, it looks like all of the lines are super clean still
Mhm.
too. So if it is a whole bunch of passes and it's still being really clean like that, that's
Yep.
pretty darn good.
Yep. If you're going super deep like that, you're gonna have to adjust the focus every time
Mm-hmm.
because the fiber has a very, very thin focal length, like depth of field, if you will.
Mhm.
Nice.
Number 8. We have this really high detail engraving.
Surfer guy?
What's that?
Is it a surfer guy? I can't tell from
No.
here.
It's 2
Airplanes.
P-40 Warhawks.
Oh, there we
Those
go.
are like your favorite thing.
Airplanes, yeah?
This is like I think it's one of those like Ridge wallets that you can get when you put your cards and stuff in there.
Oh yeah, I see like the little cutout there.
Yeah. So that's metal, and it's like anodized metal, and they did a high detail photo engraving.
Very
Looks good.
cool.
It's very nice.
I know Crystal mentioned earlier that she can't. She wants to try out the Galvo engraving, so she is the photo rastering master.
Indeed.
Raster master. Ooh,
The
I like
raster
that.
master.
Let's coin that for you, Crystal.
That's Nick. Nick. Remember, Nick was the raster master.
Was he?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Just
think.
kidding.
I don't know.
Are we?
I
Are
never
we
heard
passing
him
it
say
off? We're
Yeah,
passing
it's,
it off.
yeah.
to like the real master, yeah.
The real raster master. Number 7. We have a dollar bill.
Now that is amazing.
Right? Isn't that crazy? That's really nice.
Do we accept that tender here?
I don't believe so.
No.
Which president is on the $100 bill?
That's a trick question. There isn't one.
He wasn't a president.
There you go.
He was
There you
just
go.
super cool.
He was super cool. He had tons of girlfriends.
He liked to fly kites too.
Yeah, he did.
During thunderstorms.
I heard he had an electric personality.
Ha! Anyway,
Wow. Sparks.
moving on. Number 6. Couldn't do a fiber engraving video without showing some firearms. This
Yeah.
one was especially cool, just because of the depth, and it's almost kind of like a 3D engraving that he did. But yeah, you have the Celtic knot style, and then the little Viking engraving down at the bottom there. Very cool.
Somebody asked, where is a good source for anodized metal? So if you want metal cards, you can find them on Amazon.
Yep.
Pretty much anywhere on Amazon. Like, just search it on Amazon. Tons pop up.
They have all the different thicknesses too, like what is it, like 0.25 millimeters, so you can get them to be really like flexible, like the ones that we use. And they have them a little bit thicker than that. We're actually just
Yep.
recently shopping for them.
Also, like, there's just a lot of products that are anodized aluminum. For example, like dog tags, like for dogs, not like a military dog tag, but like a
For
dog
dogs.
tag. Yeah, for dogs
Yeah.
are typically anodized aluminum if they're like any color specifically.
Also, Johnson's Plastic sells tons of different anodized materials.
Cool.
I just had a really dumb talking about actual dog tags. Like when you go to the pet store and you buy the tag and you put it in the machine to engrave the name of your pet on there, that's a laser.
Yes, it is.
Indeed,
I
it is.
never in a
Shelby.
million years would have thought about that. Like in the real world, there are lasers that people use.
There you go.
Sometimes it just clicks. You know?
It
Yeah.
does. It's really warm in here.
It is warm.
Number 5. We have so these are metal panels that go on like a vape pen, like
Oh.
one of the square vape pens.
Those
he
are
did
really
the-
cool.
Yeah, he did a really cool custom engraving.
Looks kind of spooky.
It's
I
a little
like it
spooky.
though.
Yeah, it's got like Odin or something on there.
I dig spooky.
Yeah, I like spooky every now and again.
Yeah.
But yeah, thought those were nice.
Number 4.
Number 4, we have this cool engraved coin. After which he used some, I'm not sure. I think he said UV resin. He did like a pour of UV resin, like dyed black, and got it to look like that.
Looks good.
It's very nice.
Very nice. Very clean.
Number 3, we have some really cool lighters that were engraved and then painted after the fact.
I like it.
Yep.
Those are pretty super looking.
Ugh.
Oh, man. You really stretched that, huh?
Well, you know,
I apologize,
It's
everyone, for
okay,
Shelby.
It's okay.
Number 2, we have
A rock.
a rock.
Man.
I just thought it was
rock.
neat, like the amount of depth that he got. As a matter of fact, Walker, you've been messing with this. With the
Yeah, my
fiber
dad's
lasers.
a geologist, so I'm all about rocks now. He's crammed it down my throat long enough, so.
Crammed rocks down your throat?
Yes, it's
Doesn't
very
sound-
unhealthy.
I mean, I've heard about stone soup, but I don't think
Yeah.
you're supposed to actually eat the rocks.
It aids in digestion, believe it or not.
Yeah, if you're like a dinosaur.
Yeah. I have 3 chambers. So I do love engraving rocks now on the fiber. I think it's an application that isn't shown enough.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons it's so high on the list. I was just like, that's super cool. You don't usually see that.
No, and I think it's a moneymaker. Like, that idea is cool. Like, and who doesn't find rocks everywhere? Like,
Exactly.
Our big door rock here, was that a fiber rock?
That
that's
was
a
a
CO2
CO2 rock.
yeah. We'll make a new one with the fiber.
Hey,
Okay.
Shelby, do you know what kind of car that is?
It's a Shelby.
I was going to say a pickup truck, but you know.
It's a Shelby Cobra.
Yes.
Well, that rocks.
Ugh.
My
Number one.
gosh.
Another gun, but this one's super, super cool. It's engraved and colored like the coin was earlier. So he does these cool engravings, adding like the little rivet holes and the star and like the nose art, and then he goes in with an ink drop pen and colors them that way.
Is this a gun or is this like a Nerf gun?
No, that is a gun.
Oh, it looks very
This-
sporty.
Well, this is a portion of it, right?
Yeah, it's just the
So that's the upper. So it's
Yeah.
missing the handle, the clip,
and the grip. Yeah.
which they could fiber all that stuff too.
Yeah.
I'm not a gun connoisseur, so
Yeah,
I
it's
don't quite know,
literally
but
just like the receiver. Like that's.
It looks really cool though. I like the little kind of, is it like a pinup lady on there?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I like her.
it's like a nose art that you'd see on like an airplane, which is what they. This guy actually is on one of the fiber laser groups I'm on Facebook, and he does a lot of stuff like that.
Nice.
So
Well, that was a great top 10,
that was
Tim.
Tim's top 10.
Everybody's loving your puns today.
When you're funny, you're funny.
I thought it was punishment, but
Ugh.
okay. All right, next.
All jokes aside, Brandon Rivera is awaiting his Titan. Just went to a little Home Depot run and picked up a bunch of supplies. So that's super exciting, Brandon. We can't wait to see what you make.
Nice.
Gotta make sure you do that hashtag made with FSL so we can see all your cool stuff.
100%.
All right.
Um.
What is next on the docket, Tim?
Well, you did an install recently.
I did. There was a company that purchased 5 Muse lasers, and they were supposed to be all set up when I got there, and I was just going to train them for a couple days. Well, I get there, everything's still in the box, so if anybody complains about setting up Muse lasers, you can't. Because I did 5 of them, and it was super fun.
In like 2 days, right?
I had 2 days, so we got there. I set it up real quick, and then I decided these 5 guys flew around the country, and they came to learn, all from like different walks of life. There was one guy who was like 100 feet tall, one guy who was 4 foot tall.
Wow.
They're all super intricate, crazy gentlemen, and I got to teach them all, how to use the lasers.
Very
And
nice.
it was really fun. They were engraving glass. I feel like glass is like something everybody's doing right now. I don't know. I see a lot of posts lately about having difficulties with glass. So, I mean, it's just a little slideshow, right? Or just one image.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like a little thing.
It's a little thing just to show and sort of share my experience with those guys. Pop it up.
Yeah. We can still talk over this.
Okay.
Check it out. Are those the guys?
Yeah, you could see the difference in the gentleman. Significant.
I was gonna say, is that the very tall gentleman
Yeah,
there?
that's a
Yeah.
large man.
Yeah, he was huge. And one of the nicest guys on planet Earth. So yeah, this company was doing promos, and they actually sent me the bottle that I engraved.
Very
Took
cool.
the front label off and engraved, like a little body for the deer head. It was super fun. I enjoyed it.
Very
very
cool.
Wish you guys were there.
Well,
Well,
we weren't.
anyways, power settings. I'm just going to say glass power settings.
Yes.
Speed 90, power 80, and we were doing 250 fine, 500 DPI fine, and 1000 DPI was looking really good, nice and crisp. And no matter what, if you have a curve, you're going to have some slight flaking, but it still turned out pretty good.
Very cool. And that's on a 45 watt?
All Muses, all Muse 45 watt.
Nice.
So yeah, I know everybody's going to ask power settings.
Yep.
Got to get them out there.
Very cool.
All right.
I think that's about it. I think we have a couple sales that we could talk about, and
Yeah.
then we can get into the Q&A.
That is definitely where we're at right now.
All right.
Go.
So,
Ooh, splash into summer sales. These deals are hot.
Oh man.
oh no.
Right now, you can take $500 off our Pro Series 24, 36, and 48.
give us a call. Talk to our sales folks. They'll help you out with that. They will make sure we set you up with all of the right parts and accessories so you can pro laser away.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And we still have our inventory sale?
We are still having an inventory sale. We have lots of inventory, and it's for you.
Yeah.
This is all of our maybe older models or refurbished models or even things that we have in the showroom that we are selling at a discounted price right now. So if you contact our sales team, they can see if we have what you're looking for available and hook you up.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Time for Q&A, huh?
If you've got Q's, we've got A's.
And the rest of the alphabet.
Yeah.
Boom. Let's go through the questions. I know we had a couple.
Do we have any YouTube questions right now?
I'm looking.
All right.
And I have 3 comments on YouTube currently, so
All right.
that's a negative.
Well, if anybody who is joining us right now has questions about any of our machines, the software, us, whatever you want to know, we've probably got an answer for.
Oh yeah, Brandon's gonna make stuff.
Oh, Louise says we are all out of Muse refurbs, but they can work up a great deal on new ones.
And it looks like he says they have PS36 and PS48s in terms of, I assume in terms of refurbs.
Nice.
Bob says he would love one. Love a 36.
Louise, hook Bob up with a 36, would ya?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Boom. Well,
All right.
considering that we had lots of difficulties today, technical difficulties, I think we did good.
We made it, guys.
Yeah, I think all things considered.
Yeah. Next time we're going to jump into the software and teach you how to do fonts, upload fonts, curve fonts, all sorts of fonty fonts. Turn them into rasters, turn them back to vectors, whatever you want, merge them into objects. It's all going to be taught next time, and a lot of other cool stuff.
Jacob Doherty wants to know if you can talk about the relationship between frequency/power and tube life.
So, tube life frequency is for the Galvos, and their tube life, they don't really have a tube life. They're rated for a lot. They really don't have tubes. They're fiber optic lasers.
It's a solid state source.
Yeah, and they last for a very, very long time. So yeah, tube life doesn't really matter. Power, I know some people say if you go 100% power with your CO2 laser, it's not going to last as long. It's not really super true. And we also slightly rate them so it doesn't do that. There's lots of technical things when it comes to that, so I won't worry about running 100% power on your laser. I do it all the time. What's hard on lasers is when it's going on and off constantly. Like if you're sitting, like consider like freeway miles versus road miles on your car.
Right.
If you're stopping a lot, going, stopping, going, stopping, it's a lot harder on machines than just continuously going.
Yeah. So like I think if you did like strictly raster engravings, like your tube would probably not last as long as if you did exclusively
Cuts.
Like, cuts.
Yeah, I mean, mostly I do cuts. I've had the same tube for like 6 years now. No problem. I've had other people say they've had their tube that long. It is hard on rasters when it's like on, off constantly. But it's not something to worry about. It's like you don't drive your car and worry about the tires going out every time. Like when it happens, yeah, it sucks, but you know, we all move forward.
Yep.
Bob popped in there and just wanted to give a shout out to Justin and our support team because I guess they helped him out recently and he had a really great experience. So we appreciate hearing good things from you guys. And yeah, Justin is a total rock star. Great job, Justin.
We love Justin.
Indeed. Will a PS48 friction rotary work with a Muse Galvo?
Say that again?
Will a PS48 friction rotary work with a Muse Galvo?
So it depends on what it is, but it will not work without the actual adapter. So you will have to get a new rotary for that, depending on the model.
Yeah, they typically have different ports.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you know what model type you have, if you already have the Muse and the Galvo and all of these things, you can call in and talk to us and we can help you figure out if you already have something that's going to work or if you need to get an additional rotary or any of those other things. We can spec it out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Muse Galvo is an inline 4-pin connector, and then the rotary and I believe the Muse as well both have those like round plugs.
Yeah. It depends. Yeah. Somebody says it's the motor size. Yes, it does depend on motor size. There are several different motor sizes when it comes to the rotary, so you just need to make sure, and if you have the right connector.
Yep.
It looks like Frida, I think that's what that says. Frida wants to know if there is somewhere in our YouTube videos on all of the maintenance on the lasers and where we use grease all in one.
Okay.
Do you know what
So,
that means? Okay.
we do not have a lubrication video when it comes to the lasers, but if you do need to lubricate your Pro machine, you're going to use white lithium grease, and if you're going to lubricate the Muse, you can use a silicone lube spray. Just very simple, spray the rails, and for the Pro, on mine, I like to clean them off just with a rag, and then put white lithium grease. It's very straightforward and easy. It's some maintenance that maybe you do in a year.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it that often.
That said, we do have a laser maintenance playlist. I believe currently there is only one video on there. It's a new playlist that we're building as we go, so we will be adding more and more, and that might be a good idea to add because I think that'd be a pretty super easy video to shoot.
Easy to show, easy to do.
There
We'll
you
get
go.
it for him. We got one coming in. Can you read that one?
This is from, I want to say this correctly, Ashlana. Says, thank you, Walker, for helping me yesterday. I finally have the Wi-Fi connection going, but also have the Ethernet connection as well. Brittany has been so amazing helping me get my laser going. Now it's time to make something. And
Excellent.
we can't wait to see what you make.
Definitely. We talked yesterday, and she was talking about how her boys loved Tim's laser gun.
Yeah, my working laser gun.
Your working laser gun, yeah, that shoots laser beams.
Yep.
Super cool. They made it with a laser. So,
Yep.
very
cool.
nice lady. Talked for a while. She loves Brittany, and she's just about to make. She had some technical difficulties. Yeah.
It happens to the best of us.
It's going around.
It's
But
going around.
Make sure you do your hashtag made with FSL when you do start making things so we can see all your cool stuff and get you entered into our monthly contest and all of that other really awesome hashtag made with FSL stuff.
We have a contest. We have a monthly contest.
Yeah.
do.
Let's see the details on that bad boy. Yeah.
What?
Do we have the details for this one?
Boom.
Boom.
Check it out. So if you want to enter our contest, all you have to do, use our super cool hashtag. You can use it on any social platform because we check them all. We pick out some of our favorites. We share them around the staff. Everybody picks who our maybe top 5 or so are, and then we pick a winner. And if you win, you can get what, Tim?
A $250 store credit, as well as your choice of a new lens.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So Frida says that she read somewhere when you engrave on glass, for example, in the Muse 3D, it's good to use vector cutting for outlines for cleaner lines and engravings. Though you can use vector on glass at a very low power setting, I do not suggest it. Vector is concentrated power. Rather, when you engrave, it's a pulse of power, and then it's gone. The vector is going to crack the glass, and many times it happens on accident where somebody just runs a vector on like they just didn't turn it off and they ran it, and it just ends up cracking the glass. So
Yep.
I don't suggest vector.
Bob Humphrey says that Justin mentioned a video or tutorial on aligning down the cone in order to center the laser to keep from getting angled cuts.
Hey, how's it going? Somebody just walked in.
Yep, somebody just walked into the laser lab.
Hey, how's it
Any plans for a full step-by-step video walkthrough? Yes, I believe that a new updated alignment video is on the books.
I think you asked me about it a week ago or so, Tim.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
just did one video for Justin, which was how to square the gantry.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think that was the next one. He was asking for a new alignment video. We have one, but it's a very old video, and we've been wanting to update it for a while. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, please.
yeah,
It's me like 5-6 years ago. Not good. Must be avoided. So Down the cone is super easy though.
Yeah.
Number 3 mirror I think is the easiest to align.
It's typically the shortest throw, and it doesn't move.
Yeah, unless you got the Z.
Yeah.
Very small.
Right.
David here says he's been having some bugs on his LCD touch panel. The perimeter button will start, but when you hit it again, it shows the machine is busy versus just stopping doing the perimeter run. I need to do it on the jog control in order to stop it.
So, David, what you need to do is get the newest update, get on the network, get the newest update, because that has been fixed.
Yes.
There you go.
I had the same issue with that build a couple times on the Pro 48, but yeah, the new update we've gotten rid of that bug.
Mm.
Well, there you go. Yeah, if you have trouble getting that new update, how do they get a hold of it, Walker?
They can go onto the network. Once you connect to the Wi-Fi, it should push automatically. Just need a reboot. Once it's sent to the machine, it sort of takes a reboot to actually say, hey, we're going to update. And then it updates. And yeah, as long as you have good Wi-Fi connection or connection period to the internet, you can get it.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you are attempting and you're having trouble, just make sure you contact support, and we can help you out.
And looks like our friend Lori, her grandson wants her to make him a Catan setup, like Tim's Colonizers of Takan. So, Tim, you're going to have to chat with our friend Lori and help her out with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
No design. You can't do any. Send her the design, right?
What?
You can't send her the design.
Well, I mean, I'd rather not. I mean, it's a
As long as she doesn't sell it, it's fine, right?
We'll talk about it offline.
All right.
It's a trademarked thing, but I can absolutely give her some pointers and point her in the right direction.
There you go.
Just ask him nicely. I think we saw something about kerf.
Louise mentioned something. He says, I think he's asking about minimizing kerf, but I don't know
In context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what question that was.
Minimizing
in regards
kerf.
to.
Let's talk about it. It's focus. Ideally, focus minimizes kerf and proper power settings. If you have too much power, you're going to blast through that material, burn it, or melt it if it's acrylic. So, proper power settings.
Yep. Also, alignment can play a point, but I mean,
Yes.
at that point, it's still just, it's going out of focus,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. And shooting or hitting something or
Yeah.
bouncing.
Amelia would like to see a live explaining more ways to design an RA3. Tim, do we have some other videos about designing an RA3?
We do. So I know the last couple of live shows we've done design time, but we do, I believe in the software tutorial playlist, we have some design tutorials in there. Both in RE3, and then Walker and I each did one in Inkscape and Illustrator, respectively.
Yeah.
We were going to do one today, but technical
time.
difficulties.
Next
so
time.
Next time.
Next time we will go live and talk about fonts. I want to talk about fonts in like a lot of detail, but any questions that we're doing that segment, we will definitely dive into. We have a question about cutting cowhide. Mine is charring really bad, and if I put masking, it pulls it off. Any tips? So leather in general is sort of a difficult thing. There's lots of variables. I find that dense leather cuts much better.
Mm-hmm.
Also, black leather cuts really weird. There's some metallic leather. Leather.
Easy
That's
for
a
you to
word.
say.
That cuts horribly. So really, it's finding the right leather. I get all my leather from Tandy, and luckily we have one right down the road. But they have a huge warehouse and lots of places everywhere. But the more dense the leather, the better. If it's floppy, like we actually have some here, like this stuff, really like just flopping. This stuff does not cut well, and you can tell it like pulls and stretches. It's just really thin. Not that it's bad quality, it just doesn't cut with the laser too well. So, density.
Jacob is having some trouble with his SVGs that he's importing into RE3. He said before he would get it to raster and vector. And is that still possible with the current update, or is he missing something?
I think you're missing something, to be honest. But if you are having issues with that, just make sure you're on the latest update. There could have been some old version where you were having issues, or do a factory reset on your touchscreen. You'll go to Tools, I believe it is, and do a factory reset. See if that helps. I've seen issues where we pushed an update and it wasn't even dragging JPEGs in, and then we did a factory reset and everything was fixed. And what I believe is happening is it gets the update but doesn't actually like implement it onto the thing. So, the thing. So yeah, do a factory update. It might help you. If not, contact support after you try the other stuff.
There you go. We have a couple rotary questions. Our good friend Dennis Stark is up and running with his Titan, and he wants to know if we have any videos using the rotary in a Titan, and also any alignment videos for the Titan.
We actually have an alignment video for the Titan coming. It is shot. We just had some projects kind of take precedence over it, but we will be getting that out pretty shortly.
So stay tuned, Dennis.
Yes, we shot it a while back. It just hasn't been edited. Yeah. It's fairly straightforward.
It's actually less work than.
Yeah, it's very similar to the pros though, and the concept of like how the laser bounces off mirrors and its projection is exactly the same.
Yep. You just have one less mirror to worry about.
Yeah,
basically.
And then on the topic of our rotaries, Christine Stevens wants to know if we have any videos about the Chuck rotary. She tried making a few tumblers and is confused about aligning them. And then with RE3, it's a little confusing doing things sideways. Please help.
So the issue is what? Just doing Chuck rotary?
Yeah, she's asking about Chuck rotary videos and if we have any tips on tumblers.
So with the Chuck, it's a little different because you actually have to input the dimensions on your actual object. So if your cup is 3 inches this way, you have to input that into the software, and that is key for getting good output on the Chuck rotary. And actually, I talked to Tim earlier this week about doing it for the fiber, the Chuck, but the Chuck's exactly the same in how it functions. So I think we should dial that in and get it done ASAP for her.
Absolutely. And to Dennis's question earlier, I imagine we'll probably get some rotary videos on the Titan here pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they're pumped out so fast that we don't even get them, but
it's hard to even get one.
We get to build our own, yeah? Right,
yep.
team? We get to build our own from, I believe, the ground up. So Shelby, Tim, Jalen over here who's hiding, and moi will put it all together, and I think we'll probably film that process.
Got him.
Oh, you got him in there?
Maybe.
He didn't want to be shown, but...
Jonathan asks a good question. I think we see questions kind of like this a lot. Says there's a few people in the community trying to put like a Google spreadsheet together on power settings. Is this something that we already have or something we can help them with?
So we do have a lot of like power setting assets on our website in Laser 101. In the resources, I believe it is, right?
Yes, actually, if you go to our website, so fslaser.com/maker-resources, you're going to have access to everything and everything. It's just a really quick, short page that you can jump to click on for manuals, for startup guides, for videos, for support, for everything you name it. It's all just in one quick and easy home. On there as well, there is a material test page. That material test, if you scroll to the bottom, it'll give you a very short grid on power settings for different materials, whether you're rastering or vectoring. I believe the power settings on there are primarily for a 45-watt Muse, but I do start with all of those when I'm kind of testing things out myself to use that as like, ground level, and I'll adjust from there. You can also access all of these power settings. Where, Tim?
In the software.
In the software. So everything lives right in there. So if you aren't sure about power settings for pretty standard stuff, wood, acrylic, in your settings, we do give them to you. If you're trying to do something more complicated or you have a really specific application that you need it for, you will have to just kind of explore a little bit and fine tune it to find your sweet spot.
Yep. Yeah, if you go to the edit dropdown in RE3, in the newest update at least, if you go all the way down to the bottom, there is a materials button that'll bring up different materials with different power settings. Also, right under your engraving settings, there should be a little, for all your power settings, underneath that should be a little material select.
So as of right now, that material select only pops up in the software if you go into the settings and then set up the power,
okay.
materials. So once you do that, then it will automatically put that button saying materials under your engraving power settings, and it has, I want to say, like 4 or 5 default materials that already have them put in there. Remember, there's always variables, so it's not just a one and done thing, and it can never be, because there are tons of variables when it comes to materials. I mean, power settings, I think Tim and I were just talking about power settings.
We were.
And Tim, what would you do if I handed you, just something like, let's say, a piece of acrylic that you've never worked with before? How would you handle the power settings situation?
I would throw some random numbers into the power settings, press play, and if it didn't cut all the way through, I'd lower the power, run it again. Just, kind of trial and error.
Yeah.
Like, I don't typically use I think we're pretty good just because we've been using them for a long time, so we kind of have like a good basis for where to start.
Yeah.
But I don't consult a chart. I just kind of like, that sounds right. I'll just plug in some numbers, and if it's not right, I just fix it.
Adjust accordingly, right?
Yeah. As a newbie, I like to lean a little heavy on the chart, especially if I can't find Walker, just to ask him what he thinks the power settings should be. Like I said, as a starting point, I'll start there. I'll plug in those numbers. I'll see how it goes. If it's too much or too little or whatever it is, I'll bump it up 5 or 10, this and that, in one way or another, until I find exactly how I want it to look.
Yeah, I think we say all the time, like, if it's you've got one shot to go for it, there's no going back, that you have one time to do this engraving. Yes, it might be good to have a chart to go by, but again, there's so many variables, and I think with experience, you're just gonna know. Like I get handed a piece of wood, and if I'm going to engrave it, I'm gonna go, okay, if I'm using a pro, I'm gonna be like 30 power, 100 speed. I'll start that engraving. If it doesn't look as dark as I want it to, I'll stop the engraving, not move anything, and just hit play again with a higher power setting.
Yep. If I'm doing like a surface engraving for clear acrylic, like I don't want a whole lot of depth, I just want a really, really shallow, just basically like engraving it white. On a pro, I'll usually do like 16 power, 100 speed. That's usually where I'll start.
We got lots of questions.
We
now.
do. Terry wants to know, they haven't fired off their 48 yet. Does the new RE3 already come on it?
Yes, the software is on the machine. So all you have to do is turn it on. There's an IP address that pops up if you're connected to it, and that IP address you put into a browser, and then you have the software.
Yep. And typically when we set up our machines here, they will have the most recent update. Like, we'll update them. So.
Bob is having trouble cutting his 6mm Baltic birch on his 45-watt Muse 3D. Why may that be?
So Bob, with 6mm birch, you should be able to cut just with a couple of passes, but it also depends on that birch. If there's lots of glue, if there's lots of layers, some birch has like filler pieces in it, it's going to be hard. So I know a lot of people in the forums say just switch wood, and a lot of times that's what we do. We found what works, and I think the 5mm birch at like a Home Depot works really well.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, we've gotten the same material from Home Depot, and it cuts completely different than the last sheet we got. Like,
Yep.
No 2 sheets of plywood are created equal.
I had so much trouble with that Mateo baby circle that one time because the rastering, no matter how many passes I did, it just didn't get dark. It was super weird.
Yep. Sometimes it's just, you get a bad sheet of wood.
Yeah. Lori is pointing out that on our FSL website, we have lots of free projects, and she likes tackling those and wants to know if we have some new ones coming.
Over 100.
Over 100.
Not over 100 coming. I'm sorry,
Oh.
but we have over 100 free projects.
I mean, there could be over
there
100
could be.
coming.
Yeah,
in time.
So it really depends on the demand, because Tim and I and the ones before us created tons of files. And then we found that not a lot of people use them that great, all the time. So we thought over 100 was a good number. So if you'd like to see more, just let us know and bug us about it.
Yeah, maybe I'll put a little post that we can put up on social media. Leave it in the comments what kind of projects you want to see us make, and then we can use that as a starting point and start creating some stuff for you guys.
I see a noob question.
Sometimes when I'm engraving, for example, bottles with text, they sometimes stretch or go very tight together at the end, even though it's plenty of space. Any reason why?
So that is simply due to slipping. If your engraving ever gets squished, like say it's coming out normal and then it gets kind of squished, it has started to slip. And that just means that the wheels are still spinning and it's just kind of stuck. So you just want to make sure. What I like to do is run the perimeter like 5 times before I run the job, just to make sure it's not slipping. And then once I do that, then you're fine. Just sometimes there's some weird friction issues. Your rotary is not completely square. So you just want to check all those things prior to running the job.
Also, weighing down your object on your rotary can also help with that. Because a lot of times you get slippage on items that are too light. Like you want to
I noticed some weird squishing, particularly squishing when we were doing really, really, really big fat tumblers. Was it the big fat ones? It was either squishing or stretching. I've seen it both, just kind of depending on what you're using. So if you do have something that is really, really, really round, it will kind of distort your shape a little bit. So I always try to do I always have my test dummy cup that I can obliterate with as many versions of everything and just kind of adjust the width on it until it looks more like what I'm looking for. But that's only if you're using really super, super narrow, super fat, strange cups with really large stuff on it.
We've got a couple of test tumblers that are just covered in designs, and we always try to use those before we do our final pass.
Yes, number one, don't just continue to throw new tumblers or new objects into it before you've learned completely, got all the bugs out of your learning curve, because you can just go through and blast a ton and just go through money.
Yeah. So if you mess up one and you don't want to sell that one, just use that one to continue testing until you get it down.
Yep. There you go. Lori is requesting some living hinge projects.
Ooh.
Though living hinges are cool, I will say they are a pain in the butt. They're a pain in the butt to design. They're a pain in the butt because you need perfect wood, perfect power setting, perfect proportions, and then when you bend it a couple of times, it's all right. It's all okay, all right, and then it's broken.
We do have a couple living hinge ones on there, though. Isn't our sunglass project, the little sunglass kit, is a living hinge?
Yep.
Yeah, we got that living hinge. We got the penguin
wine
holder
the wine
thing.
carrier.
Oh, yeah.
We have a handful on there, and if for new designers out there, I would say maybe steal the living hinge part and create your own. It's just, if you do a living hinge, you have to switch up the design based on thickness of material.
Right.
And it's just, if you want curved things, I do suggest maybe getting into acrylic and start heat bending stuff, because I know it seems like a huge leap, but acrylic's so much better.
Yep.
They are a pain, somebody said.
Yep, they're a pain and been testing different types of wood. I think we're going to have to take our last question from dear Annette here, because we are just about at that time.
Yep.
And Annette would like to know, or would like to rather, make her own stamps. What materials do you recommend, and does thickness matter?
Thickness on what?
On the stamps. She's trying to make stamps.
Okay, so thickness does matter. I guess you want to avoid when you press down that it gets the back end of the stamp. So, I mean, I've used stamps with 3mm material, so it really doesn't matter too much. And you'll find that there is rubber stamp material on Amazon. I just bought some to do some stamps. We should make a video.
Stamps.
Yeah, so there's just that specific stuff on Amazon. Just look up laser rubber or laser stamp material and you'll find it on there. It's really easy to work with. It's just when it engraves, it's really dirty and nasty and you have to clean it off with a toothbrush.
All right.
I think that's going to do it. We actually have, we just like randomly got a lot of questions on YouTube. I will try and get to those tomorrow after the fact, because we are basically completely out of time at the moment. I apologize.
So until next time.
Until next time.
Keep making, guys.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If I can roll a nat 20, you all have to like and subscribe. Well, you should like and subscribe anyway.